Good evening and welcome to Encore with Zoe Ryan. On tonight's show, we'll be exploring what is and the benefit of securing an artist residency. We'll also be looking into building a brand around your creative skills and highlighting some of the events happening across the Midlands this weekend. Later on, founder of Laois-based business Gaelic Mirage, Serhii Kovalov, will be here to tell us what services his studio offers. And Glynn, marketing and events coordinator at Belvedere House Gardens, will be dialing in to discuss their ever-popular garden festival taking place in Westmeath this weekend. But first, to Offaly for a bit of Encore on tour. Yes, earlier this week I got out of the studio and called into Esker Arts in Tullamore to meet with their newly announced artist in residence, local multidisciplinary artist Hazel Egan, to check out her new studio space. Hazel, you've been named by Esker Arts as their 2026 Artist in Residence. Could you tell us what that means?
Well, firstly, I'm really grateful. I think apparently it's quite a competitive process to be firstly to submit an application and then to be awarded. So I first of all, I just feel so grateful that I was selected, and it just means so much to me being from Tullamore, that I'm supported by my local arts centre. I think it's such an important space to bring the community together and to develop, I suppose, just an artistic community in the Midlands. For me, it's really lovely to make work close to home, because I have had studios before, but they've been more based in Dublin, and now to actually have a space near home where I can respond to my local environment, to build a relationship with the Arts Centre and the amazing team we have here at Esker, and also the community in more general. It's so important to have time and space within a studio where you can actually just focus on your practice. So a residency really is a short amount of time generally. So this residency is about 6 months. So it's giving me a focus. So a nice amount of time to actually focus and kind of bring my attention back to my practice, where I'm not juggling too many things all at once. So because I've just finished a master's in education. Nice. So in some ways my practice took a little bit of a backseat. I was more focused on classroom environments and kind of art practice for lesson planning as opposed to my own personal practice. So this residency is really giving me the time to reflect on my work after that little bit of time, because I feel a little bit changed after that experience. So my work is different. I'm kind of different priorities now for me. So this residency is really helping me to focus and to value my practice as well. That it is important to me in my life and I want to maintain it. So yes, I think having a space to yourself, to feel comfortable and relaxed, free of inhibitions, that you can just test, make mistakes, work through things without this kind of pressure of having to have like resolved work. So perhaps at the end of the residency I will have resolved pieces, that I will exhibit at some point in the future. But I think that a residency is really about the process of making and giving yourself time to explore different things.
And what would the benefit of a residency be? You said there that it kind of gives you time, because I suppose you don't have a deadline on you, that you're not saying, okay, I have to deliver a piece of work by this time. So it's giving you that bit of space to maybe be creative in a way that you can't when you have deadlines looming. So for anyone who's maybe unfamiliar with a residency, what are the benefits of having a residency? Well,
for this residency is funded very generously by the Offaly-Arts office. So that's one aspect, is that it's actually, I'm supported financially. So within this space, normally if you're renting a studio, there's a rental, a lease. Yeah. So there's financial strains on that. Whereas with this residency, it's been awarded to me. So I have this amazing opportunity to embrace my practice without that kind of pressure. And I think definitely for the amount of time I have here, it just gives me that little bit of a push. I think sometimes you can get kind of, you're going through the motions, kind of different distractions in life take hold of you, and I think when the fact that I have this residency now for this amount of time, I'm not making sacrifices, but I'm dedicating myself to it, that I wouldn't always have had that push, I suppose. And I think with just the support of the arts office and the team here, that just gives me a little bit of more of, what would you say, a kind of, I'm part of something, so I'm part of the furniture here now at this stage. So I have done residencies before, where they would be more residential. So you might be there for maybe 2 weeks, and you're living on site.
Right.
So this one is slightly different, where it's a studio residency, and then I'm based here in Tullamore, out the road a little bit. So it is a little bit different in that sense, that it's this is a working space and not a residential residency.
Yes. Yeah.
So there are some differences in residencies. So I don't have specific deadlines in mind, but I'm giving myself the opportunity to try things that I might not do, in a different environment.
And what is it that you hope to achieve out of this residency? I know you've said that maybe because you were away studying for a while, your art has changed, you're hoping to maybe find that new look to your art. But I know that you want to get involved with community groups as well, and kind of welcome them in and get them involved in your art.
Yes, so definitely for this residency, my aim is to focus a bit more on drawing. So my practice would I would work within contemporary drawing, printmaking, and then more sculptural objects and installation. But for this residency, I'm narrowing my focus a little bit to work with drawing, and I don't mean drawing just in terms of line drawing. I also work with inks and watercolor, and I still consider that. Some people might consider that more painting, but it's within my drawing practice. I use a mix of materials. So I've just given myself that kind of focus, just to get back to the very tactile nature of paper and touch, because I definitely think this is coming out of COVID, and also from being in classrooms where I'm seeing digital technology taking over a lot. Yeah. I kind of need a detox from screen-based worlds, and also just to embed myself, just a more embodied experience with making. So that's why I'm kind of trying to get back to drawing and material in that sense, and also thinking about the local environment. So I live near a bog, and I've just been reflecting a lot about how the landscape is changing, and how this conversation around energy use and the building of data centres in the Midlands is definitely influencing how I approach image making, and what it means to actually construct an image these days, why art is important. When we think about generative AI and computer, like machine learning, and I always try and bring it back to the human aspect of why we engage with materials, how we process information. So I know it's the summer holidays now, so I think it might be later on when the schools are back that I might engage a little bit more with maybe students, and just thinking about what it means to make sense of the world through making, and through material, and very much about the physical aspect of working with our bodies, with our hands, touching materials. I think the haptic nature of an art practice is really important to me, and that's not to discredit anyone who works digitally, but for me, the physical nature of making is really important. So I would love to get in touch with schools and possibly do some workshops, and the fact that I have a background in education. Actually, just on that note as well, for Culture Night, I'm going to have an open studio. So that's the Friday the 18th of September. So that could be a nice opportunity for people to visit. I can talk about my work. I'll put some things on the wall, and I'll have more to show by then, because I'm still kind of working through ideas, and it does take time, and I think that's something I'm learning to slow down with, and to value just contemplation and testing. I was going to say I had a few false starts, but they're not really. They always come back. So there's a lot of that in the beginning, and I think for the general public to see that that work takes time, that it's not always, a set plan. I'm going to do this drawing or this painting and it's going to look like this. You don't actually know. You're working through things, so they change over time. And what might have been your initial idea might actually just be a tangent, So I think that's also really nice for people to step into a studio and see that things aren't always resolved. That there's a messy stage. So I'm looking forward to meeting people and to re-engaging with. So I had lived in Limerick and I was based a bit more in Dublin, and just to have just through my studies and work. So it's just really nice to actually bring my practice back home a bit more.
And talk me through a typical piece of your work then. You've touched on maybe some of the themes that you generally would look at, but if you were to maybe illustrate a picture for us of a typical piece of art that someone would see belonging to yourself, what would it be?
Okay, well, I'm not sure if I do have a typical piece of work, but generally my work is quiet. It's kind of minimal and pared back in terms of like the aesthetics and the materials, but they are quite elemental materials. So I've worked a lot with kind of graphite and coal, and also with wood and water. Okay. But in terms of my drawing practice, I generally have been making quite small works, but then also my printmaking and my kind of more sculptural works would kind of, I make a lot of companion pieces. So I don't know if this is linked, I'm actually a twin. So I think I've never thought about works as singular entities. I've always made them in response to other objects. So I'm not sure if that's maybe coming from printmaking, or is it because of I have two sisters and we're all in the arts, and I think I just relate a lot of my being to them. So yeah, generally I don't have a distinctive approach to my making. And my work, it takes the form of whatever the idea is, or whatever material I'm working with. So there isn't always a kind of a formulation as such, but I'm hoping to work a little bit more large scale with my drawings this time, so that might be a step in a different direction. Yeah.
Is it something that you've ever looked into to see scientifically, has there been linkages made between twins in that way and like the way of thinking? Or as you said, your sister is also an artist as well. So would you find that your work is starkly different, or is there similarities in it?
Yeah, it's definitely something I reflect on, because I studied printmaking, and I suppose the reproducibility of images is a huge part of that. So thinking about the original and the copy and what the authenticity of multiples. So that does definitely come into how I think about my work, and I do think that that does relate to being a twin in some ways. That I always feel like there's a part of me somewhere else maybe, or that I'm not the full. No, we are very independent, but I think there was a little bit of you in the other person. So, and we are similar in lots of ways. But she works more in design, so in fashion and costume. But it definitely, I think it's a fascinating. I think I'm very privileged to have that connection. And we also have another sister who works in the arts as well. So we're all quite close and have a good relationship, and we can talk through ideas. And it's lovely.
We'll take a quick break there, but stay with us to hear about how you can go about applying for a residency and the tools available to help you do that. Midlands 103. You are listening to Encore on Midlands 103 with myself, Zoe Ryan. Now, before the break, I played out a discussion I had earlier this week with Offaly-raised artist Hazel Egan on her new residency at Esker Arts. But how did she go about applying for the position, and what would her advice be on going for such a role?
When you're thinking about applying to anything, really, you just have to always keep your eyes peeled. Be aware of where opportunities are advertised and what might be worthwhile, because you can't apply to everything. So for me, of course, being from Tullamore, I'm quite in tune with what's happening in Esker. So I was very much, when I saw first on Instagram the post that advertised the opportunity, and then also on the website, I knew it was something I wanted to apply to. And generally with these opportunities, there's an application process. So there would be a time frame, with a deadline where your application would have to be submitted. And there would be a few criteria. So you might have to submit a CV just showing your track record, what experience you have, maybe where you're coming from, and some images of your work as well, just to give context and to show the quality of your work and maybe your thinking process. So when the application is submitted, that, I don't want to say graded, but they're assessed, there's a kind of a criteria for assessment there. When I submitted my work, I definitely took a lot of time to edit, to format a nice document that was cohesive, and to put my best work forward. So then obviously when I got an email saying I was selected, it was such a vote of confidence. It's something that takes a few iterations and a bit of practice, and also to have, maybe if you've got somebody in your life who you trust to proofread, and to just give their opinion, because when you're too close, sometimes when you're so close to what you're working on and to your own ambitions, I suppose, you can lose sight of things. So having somebody to just talk through your application with is hugely beneficial, and I definitely have found that I've learned a lot over the years. I've made mistakes. It takes a little bit of practice,
to get the right formula.
Well, there isn't always a formula, because each application is different. So to read what's being asked, you just have to keep to the point and answer what's necessary. Yeah. But it's the same with funding applications. I think it takes time. There can be a formula, like the language that you use or how much you edit, and it does just take a bit of practice.
And I know you've mentioned that maybe if you have someone like trusted, that you'd value their opinion, or maybe another artist that that I'm sure you all work in close quarters, who maybe has been successful previously, could help. But are there any online resources or tools maybe that people could go to that could help with a bit of guidance as to how you would go about applying? Or as you said, if it's got to do with language, is it going, try and use this language? Is there any resources like that made available to artists that they can look into ahead of applying for things, to maybe get a bit of leeway on it or a bit of assistance?
Definitely online there are lots of resources. So just Visual Artists Ireland is an organisation, and they often hold kind of in-person workshops, or occasionally there'll be kind of some webinars and things like that. And also the Arts Council of Ireland, and local arts offices will provide sometimes mentorship or guidelines, so documents that have guidelines of certain criteria, like the do's and don'ts and frequently asked questions, that sort of thing. So I do think there's a little bit of research that it's really useful to do, but also I think artists are generally, if you're around, like I've noticed that on other residencies or on other kind of shared studio spaces I've been in, we kind of just fall into conversation and just mentor each other in different ways, because there's a sharing that happens, and a kind of a generosity. And I know some people do find that it can be competitive and that you're up against each other, but sometimes you just have to accept that some things are for you and some things aren't, and that everyone has a different context or a different path, so that it's not always like a race, that we're that the timing of things, everyone's life is going in a slightly different trajectory, but I do think to trust in your own kind of your own vision, your own practice is really important. Doubt is a huge part of being an artist, and that's okay. I think being somewhat comfortable with that is really important, but then also to sit back and trust yourself. It's also okay to know where your work sits within the wider art kind of circles, and just to make sure that you're supporting yourself emotionally as well. So minding creative minds is actually another resource that is really, really important, because we have to look after ourselves mentally, and so that's another resource that you can access online, that just supports artists and creative people, because it can be kind of isolating sometimes, and I think striking the balance between having time alone and enjoying, like I really enjoy privacy when I'm trying to when I'm feeling vulnerable, because you do kind of feel vulnerable when you're making work that you you're not sure where it's going yet. But then also the collective aspect of being part of a community and having people to bounce ideas off of, that's important. So yeah, the balance, I think, is what we're always trying to strike. Yeah.
And you can find out more about Hazel and her work on Instagram at _Hazel_Egan_. That is 3 underscores. Up next, a creative using his craft to help other artists. Midlands 103. It is Encore on Midlands 103 with Zoe Ryan. Something we have discussed extensively on this show is the fact that it is no longer enough to just be a creative. Nowadays, not only do you need to be good at your craft, but you also need to be good at marketing yourself, in particular navigating the online world to showcase yourself and your work. Now, naturally, this is something that can bring a lot of stress because it's extremely time consuming, not just to create the content, but to do the research into the type of content you should be creating, knowing things like the latest trends and optimal times to post at, which are ever changing. A lot of people simply don't have the time or aren't naturally good at that type of thing, something that Serhii Kovalov, the creative behind and founder of Gaelic Mirage Studios in Laois, recognises and looks to address through his business offering. Serhii, thank you for agreeing to speak with me today.
Hi Zoe, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here and talk about Gaelic Mirage Studio. Thank you very much.
Yes. And Serhii, tell us a little bit about your own background and to how that led to you setting up the studio.
My background is quite varied, but I believe every part of it helped me build Gaelic Mirage Studio. I have a master degree of accounting, so I learned how to think in a structured and analytical way. Later, I ran my own woodworking businesses for several years. Running the businesses taught me how to communicate with clients, understand their needs, manage a project, and deliver high-quality work. At the same time, I was always interested in visual storytelling. I work with video editing, wedding films, motion graphics, 2D graphics, 3D graphics, visual effects and color grading. When I come to Ireland, I noticed that many excellent local businesses had strong products and services, but their online content did not always show their true quality.
Yes.
That is why I created Gaelic Mirage Studio. I wanted to combine my understanding of businesses with my creative experience and help Irish companies present themselves professionally through video, photography, and visual storytelling.
So what is it that you offer businesses? A business will come to you and say, we have whatever business it is. How can you help them? What is it you can do for them?
Gaelic Mirage Studio offers video production, commercial photography, social media content, drone filming, editing, color grading, visual effects, and creative planning. Our main service is cinematic brand and commercial films. They are not simply videos showing a building or product. We try to understand the business, its values, its customers, and the story behind it. We also create shorter vertical videos for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and other social media platforms. Photography is also important because clients need professional images for websites, social media. I offer their services because modern businesses need different types of material for several platforms. My goal is not just to make something beautiful. The content must be trust, explain the value of businesses, and help attract customers.
Talk me through the process. A company reaches out to you, and then how does it all go? What's the first thing you do? Do you go out to visit them? Do they visit you? What's the process?
Thank you for the question. The process behind this the first conversation. First, I try to understand the businesses. I ask what the company offers, who its customers are, what problem is solved, and what result the client wants from the content. After then, I research the company, its website, social media, competition, and market. This helps me understand how the business is currently presented and where we can improve its message. I develop the creative direction. Depending on the project, it may include the main idea, story structure, visual style, mood board, script, and shot list. During the shot, I direct the process, I help people feel comfortable and make sure we have enough material for the final project. After filming comes post-production. This includes selection of the best footage, editing, sound design, licensed music, color grading, graphic and sound, and sometimes visual effects. The client then receives a first version for website, YouTube and social media for review.
Okay, so is this a one-time offering, or once you deliver that final project, do you do any follow-up? Do you come back and maybe help a company with their social medias again, or is it kind of one project at a time, or would you come in and help them manage their social media accounts and their website?
My involvement does not always end after one video. Some clients only need one brand film and one special project. Other businesses need regular content because their social media and website must stay active and current. For those clients, I can create content packages. For example, we can plan for filming day, one produce several short videos, photography behind the stands material, and content for future posts. I do not currently position Gaelic Mirage Studio as a full social media management agency. My main role is creating professional visual content. However, I can help client plan how to use the materials, which video should be, which formats are suitable for different platforms, and how to build a more consistent presence.
Okay, because that's the area that I find most people struggle with. It's knowing what to put on social media. A lot of the time, these creatives or their business, it's not related to social media or to online, so they don't know where to start. So that's where you can come in and help them. But something I had seen on your website is that you offer creative planning and visual development. Talk to me about that.
Creative planning and visual development is a part of the preparation process. Before a client spends time and money on filming, it is important to have a clear idea of what we are creating.
Mm-hmm.
I use modern creative and AI tools to help develop concept, mood boards, references, storyboards, and early examples. For example, if we're planning a brand film for a hotel, restaurant, or product, I can create visual reference showing the possible atmosphere, lighting, camera angles, and style before the actual shot. AI does not replace the client, the filmmaker, or the creative process. It is a planning tool. It helps us communicate ideas more clearly. This can save time, help the client feel more confident about the direction of the project. The final film is still based on real people, real businesses, real location, and professional production.
A lot of people are afraid of AI. As you said, they're afraid it's going to take their jobs and try and replace them. But this is a very good use of AI. You're using it, as you say, a tool to help you show people what is possible, what you can give them. Now, another thing you mentioned you offer is licensed music. And I just wondered, is that a case of, do you have musicians or composers involved in the company that would custom make a piece, or is that you can acquire licensed music for the client?
At the moment, I mainly use professional music license platforms. These platforms provide high-quality music created by professional musicians and composers, and I make sure it has the correct commercial license. This is very important because businesses cannot safely use any music they find online. Popular music may be protected by copyrighted, and using it without permission can create legal problems or cause content to be blocked on social media. Licensed music gives the clients permission to use the finished content and agreed platforms such their website, YouTube, and social media. For same future project, especially large or more creative production, I would also be open to work directly with local musicians and composers to create original music. But for most commercial projects, professional licensed libraries provide a wide range of safe and high-quality options.
It's an interesting area, the music. I know myself, I've created pieces before and chosen music that you were allowed to at the time. And then it's been taken down sometime later by social media because the permissions have changed. So as you said, it's great to get the licensed music because you can be assured that you're fine and it won't be taken down. But why is it that you would say that someone should have a strong and professional online presence, whether that's social media or the website? Why is that important for a business or like that, an individual? Why is it important they have that to show themselves to the world?
Today, people often meet businesses online before they meet the owner or visit the location. They search on Google, open the website and check Instagram or Facebook. In only a few seconds, they form an opinion about the company. Professional content builds trust. It shows that the business cares about quality, details, and the customer experience. Video is especially powerful because it can show the people behind the company, the working process, the atmosphere, the product, and the story. Good content, it helps people understand why they should choose one business over another.
You mentioned earlier about making people look natural, or at least feel natural anyways, in front of camera, which doesn't come naturally to some people. Tell me some of the tricks of the trades on how you make people feel comfortable in that space and on the cameras.
Yeah, it's a good question. Most people are not professional actors and may feel uncomfortable when they see a camera. The first thing I do is create a calm atmosphere. Instead of asking someone to stand still and act naturally, I usually give them a simple real action. For example, they may prepare a product, speak with a colleague, or demonstrate part of the normal process. People look more natural when they are doing something familiar. I also record more than one version. The first answer may feel nervous, but after a few minutes people usually relax. Good camera angle, light, sound and editing also help, but the most important thing is trust. The person must feel that I'm helping them, not just in them.
And you are a creative yourself. You've built this company using your skills as someone who's working in the art area. Would you have fellow creatives, the likes of, say, singers, actors, presenters, coming to you, looking for you to help them build an online presence? Or is it more businesses rather than individuals?
At the moment, my main focus is working with businesses, organizations and local brands. However, this can also help individual creative. Today, individual creators also need a strong online presence. Aside a promotional video, an artist may need a short documentary about their work, and a presenter may need a professional showreel. So Gaelic Mirage Studio is open to both businesses and individuals, where the project first our creative direction. The common points is storytelling. Whether I'm filming a hotel, jewelry, business, craft shop, or a musical, I want to understand what makes them different and communicate that clearly. I particularly understand in working with people who have a strong story, skills, or passion, but need help presenting it professionally.
Fantastic. As I said, this is a need that people need at the moment. It's something that we have to have in this modern age. It's not enough to just be a creative. You need to have a website. You need to have a social presence, as I said, to sell yourself, open yourself up to more work. And it's great that you've recognised that and have built your work to allow people to do that, because it's not something that people naturally know how to do or know how to do well. So thank you very much for sharing with us about your business. And how have you found the business has gone? Are a lot of local businesses looking for your services?
Website, but website is not, I think work is social media. Social media is work, and work, recommendation, it's 100% it's important. If you film good and high quality and you show your client this video, this project, and your client is happy and he say, Serhii, it's very beautiful, I like it. It's start work recommendation from one client to second client.
Yes, that's how people find you.
Yeah. Recommendation, it's 100%. It's work. In Ireland, it's work.
I think social media is the area people are least comfortable with because it's the newest. You know, we're very accustomed to hearing things on the radio or seeing things on the TV, and sometimes people who aren't in that creative world, they'll create a piece for it and they look at it and they know it's not right, but they don't know what's wrong with it. And that's why they need someone like yourself with a creative eye to look at it and steer them in the right direction and say, this is the way you should do this shot. And they go, oh, yes, that's what I wanted. I just couldn't do it myself. So it's great that you're providing that service to people who don't know how to do it, but they're expected to know how to do it nowadays.
Yeah, I agree with you. And now it's video for company, for personal brand. It's very important. It's 100% very important. People like buy to people, not logo. Not in logo, not in website.
Yeah.
People want see what
who is behind it.
Who is behind?
Yes.
Who is owner? It's very important.
I suppose the question could be, where do you see your company and business going? Do you think that it'll continue the way it is, or would you like to start offering more than you currently do?
I live in County Laois, and it's not Dublin, it's not Cork, it's not big cities where is have a big, very big production studios. Yes, and in our center of Ireland, in our country, I want help businesses. Really help businesses that they will have a strong video, strong social media, that will come new clients, that it's all need video. Video content, video is sale. My opinion, video, every video is sale. It's new customers, it's new clients.
And if people want to know more about your work, where can they find details and contact you?
I have website, it's GaelicMirageStudio.com. I have Instagram profile, it's Gaelic Mirage. You can find on internet, so easy.
Yes, yeah. Serhii, thank you very much for speaking with me today.
Thank you, Zoe.
And before we came on air, Serhii was showing me some of his latest work, really top quality stuff. So if you feel you could benefit from working with Serhii, do check out Gaelic Mirage Studios online. Still to come, are you looking for ideas on what you can do this weekend? Well, look no further. I have an event to suit all tastes and ages coming up after this. It's Zoe Ryan bringing you your weekly arts and entertainment show Encore on Midlands 103. Now, it is that time of year again where the Belvedere Garden Festival is coming around, and their chosen tagline or slogan for this year is Where Nature Meets Creativity. To fill us in on what to expect from the 2026 instalment of the event is Marketing and Events Co-Ordinator at Belvedere House Gardens, Liam Glynn. Liam, thanks for taking my call this evening.
Thanks a million, Zoe, for having me.
Now, Liam, the festival has been described as being more than just a garden show, referring to it as a full outdoor experience. So give us a rundown of what you have on offer.
Yeah, well, Zoe, that's the truth to say that it's definitely not just for your garden enthusiasts. At Belvedere, we are very much a family-orientated place for families to come. So we're trying to make it a family experience. We've set a real festival atmosphere here as well. We've got the bunting up. We have got the newly crowned Westmeath Rose, Keelan Nicoli, cutting the ribbon at about 12 o'clock on the day to launch the festival. I know gates open at 10 o'clock, but we're just going to cut the ribbon at 12 o'clock so everybody can gather around for that. So that's something to look forward to. And we're going to have plant stalls, craft stalls and food stalls. And then also we're going to have a kids area as well. So there'll be free face painting for the kids. And the kids can also bring home a biodegradable potted sunflower that they can watch grow. So that's another initiative we have. Now we've amusements on site. A small fee will apply for them, but they look really interesting as well. We've got Zord balls as well. So it's a really entertaining day for everybody. And we've got a few local buskers going to play. The Mullingar Ukulele Band are going to play, and a few local buskers as well. So it's really going to be a festival vibe for people to enjoy and people to get out. And apparently the weather is looking very good. So we're really looking forward to having a bumper day out.
And you've mentioned there that it really is just a day for the whole family. You've got lots of different things going on. You've got different stalls, as you said. You've got loads of activities, but you've also got a talk schedule as well.
Yeah, we have a really nice talk schedule in place for the day. So on the hour, every hour from 12 o'clock, we have 4 talks. So the first talk is at 12 o'clock and it's going to be with Anya Van Beck. She's from the local garden centre, O'Mara's Garden Centre. Her talk is going to be on house plants for a healthy home. Then at 1 p.m. we have got Emma Noonan from Mullingar Gathers. She's going to talk about food, community and sustainability. At 2 p.m. we have Cron, who are the organisation involved in planting trees around the country, and they're going to talk about the tree species at Belvedere, and followed by that they're going to give a guided tour of the trees of Belvedere. So that's an interesting thing for people to come and get out and about and see the woodlands here at Belvedere. And also then at 3 p.m. we have Sarah from Slowfield Flowers, and she's going to do a presentation on 3 ways to arrange garden flowers. I also must mention, Zoe, that at 12 o'clock on the day, our horticulturist Richard Dooner is going to give a guided tour of our wall gardens. It's going to be very interesting. Richard's grandparents once lived in the cottage on the site here at Belvedere, so Richard has a real initiative around the place, and he knows a lot about Belvedere that we don't even know about. So if you come at 12 noon, you're going to hear his story and a guided tour of the wall gardens.
And you know, Belvedere Garden Festival, it was always a family tradition for us, and most years we actually travelled over to attend the 2 days. And so I was wondering, when was it that it went from being a 2-day event to a 1-day event?
Well, I took up the role as Events and Marketing Coordinator last November, and I think after COVID it kind of died back down to a 1-day event. But the plan is, for next year, I am hoping to go with a 2-day event. As I said, I cannot get over with the interest in people. The ticket sales are very good so far, and the stalls, like I've over 40 stalls between plants, crafts and food, which is very good so far, and I'm delighted with that. So it's something that I hope to expand on for next year and make it a 2-day festival and a real community family gathering. As I mentioned earlier, Belvedere is a real family place. It's a place you bring your family, whether they're your grandparents, your parents. You can come on a date even to Belvedere. There's loads of stuff to do in Belvedere, and you can spend a day in Belvedere as well. It's not just for just 1 or 2 hours. Your admission fee gets you the whole day in here. We don't push you out. You're here till close. You can spend the whole day here if you want. And
speaking of admission fee then, talk us through the price that's put on that.
Yeah, so at the admission fee for our garden festival is €15 for adults. If you are a Belvedere member, if you have annual membership to Belvedere, you'll be able to avail of a €10 entrance fee on the day. So that's €5 off your general admission if you show your membership card. And most importantly, children are free on the day.
Now, naturally, you have a lot of garden and plant stalls, as you mentioned, but also food, and of particular interest for this show, the craft stalls. So can you talk me through maybe some of those more creative vendors that you're going to have?
Yeah, I'll just mention a few the craft stalls that's going to be there. We've actually got a wicket basket maker, Wicker Creations. It's a local lady, Pauline Hogan, and she's going to be actually making wicker baskets as well as selling her products here on the day. So it'll be interesting to see how wicker baskets are made. We have also got chai crew, so they'll be selling their chai tea, which is remarkably very nice and something to try for everybody. We've also got the Farmhouse Bees and Trees from Abbashrule in County Longford. Fiona McCormick is bringing her stand up, and they make beeswax candles and also sell the honey. We have also got Fox Covered Farms. They sell hemp seed and hemp products. We've also got Buzzing Meadows Farm as a craft stall, Primrose Cottage, Concrete All Sorts, Leafy Lane Gift Shop, and a local woman who writes books and illustrates the books herself is Dolores Keaveney. She's going to be here with her DB Press, so she'll be selling her kids' books. She writes kids' books and illustrates them, and they're well worth looking at and very affordable at price. But loads of all, there's going to be loads here for a family. Spend the day here, come early and stay till 5 o'clock, and they can have as much fun as they want. And kids can go home with their face painting. The parents can go home happy, full of food and a few plants and a few gifts, hopefully for presents that they need. But overall, we're really looking forward to it and cannot wait.
And really is the likes of festivals and events like this that allow the likes of your local crafters or people who maybe have a smaller following who aren't like a massive business to get a stall at these events and to be seen. So it's great, as you said, for people to explore and discover new things. But this obviously is at the heart. I know we're saying it's more than a garden festival, but you are going to have your garden lovers, your people who are coming along who are maybe thinking, right, I want to do something with my own garden, or I want to pick up maybe an unusual plant. Or I know, my own father used to just get a lot of inspiration from the walled gardens. You have fabulous walled gardens on the site as well.
Yeah, the walled gardens are very much worth a visit. Currently, the Belvedere rose is in full bloom in the walled gardens. It's a unique rose. It kind of leans over and it takes over. It grows very much. It's very good at producing. It's a lovely pink rose, and that's, if you go into the walled gardens, you can see that everywhere in the walled gardens, wherever it's got his chance to take over. And we've also got the Belvedere apple, believe it or not. It's a cooking apple, a very unique red cooking apple. Currently, we've only about 3 trees on site, but we have more trees coming to be planted. It's a unique red apple, and when you cut it open, it's actually red on the inside. It's more used for cooking than a normal eating apple, so it's more of a cooking apple, but it's very unique, and that's something that we're going to hopefully establish on. We're hoping to have the Belvedere Apple Festival here on the 5th and 6th of September to incorporate that as well, so that's something else for people to look forward to. Interesting,
because I was literally just about to say that, you know, the Belvedere Garden Festival, that's arguably what the location is known for every year. It's your kind of, you know, big statement piece, your big day, but you do host different events throughout the year. You've mentioned one of them there, but what else can we see on offer in Belvedere throughout the year?
Yeah, well, this year for Halloween, we're teaming up with Home of Halloween, which is going to be in collaboration with Longford County Council and Westmeath County Council, and we are going to have plenty of Halloween events here to be confirmed now in the coming weeks, and we'll be announcing that as well for the Home of Halloween. So there's going to be plenty of Halloween events here for the kids. I'll give you probably one of the ideas. One of the ideas is going to be a spectacular fire show on the bank holiday weekend, so that's something for people to look forward to, but more will be revealed in the coming days. We'll also hopefully have our Christmas experience back again this year, which it's not fully confirmed yet, but there will be something for Christmas, and hopefully then throughout the year, I've had Clada play live here during the year in June. It was very successful. I've had a comedy night, and I'm just hoping to try and have different things out there to get people that has never experienced Belvedere to come here before, as the courtyard here in Belvedere is a very unique setting. The acoustics are very good. It's really good for an intimate venue. So if there's any people out there that's big into their music or very good at their music that would like to play in Belvedere, they can also get in touch with me, because I am looking for ideas for events in Belvedere.
It's great that you're looking to kind of expand out that offering, because as I said, you know, I think the Garden Festival really is your statement piece throughout the year, but it's a massive big grounds and there's loads of different areas on it. So it's good to hear that you're looking to maybe broaden that out and to invite people in more and to use the space better.
Yeah, the space, like there's 160 acres here at Belvedere. I'm still discovering little bits every day once I walk the grounds. There's just so much to find out here, and it's very good. Like if you just really want a bit of downtime as well, just to come for a walk in the evening. Just that's what I will mention, Zoe, as well. Like it's less than 50 cents a day to join for annual membership here at Belvedere. For one person, it's €110 for the year, which is absolutely nothing. Consider if you were just to come here for one day, you pay €9 in to visit. So it is nothing for the year if you're to make use of it. You've got the lake here beside us as well. You've got the woodlands, you've got the gardens, and it's just every season is different here in Belvedere. There's always something different to see, and you can see the seasons changing, and it's just spectacular. And not being biased or anything because I work here, I would highly recommend anybody that hasn't been to Belvedere to get down to Belvedere and try and make the journey to our Garden Festival on the 19th. And I would advise to pre-book the tickets on our website, www.belvedere-house.ie.
Fantastic, Liam. Thanks so much for giving us your time this evening.
No worries. Thanks a million, Zoe, and we'll speak to you soon.